Well, hello, donut holes. It's been quite some time since we had a podcast, so here it is. It's great. I hope you enjoy the show. Alicia,
I'm sorry.
ruined our 5 seconds of silence. Hey, welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome to the
geez.
podcast.
I was shouting. Sorry. We're gonna have to normalize these sounds.
Normalize
later.
these levels. Hopefully, you can normalize it with my loud chair movement sound. I'm
yes.
sorry.
Do you ever like just throw your leg over your other leg and it feels really good?
Not recently.
I love to just throw my legs around and it feels good. I don't know what I'm saying.
I'm giving you a look.
I could tell.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to Plain Donuts, the podcast. I don't remember how
Based off of the movie.
Based off of the movie Plain Donuts. This is Plain Donuts episode 42, the longest in film history.
Boom. Roasted.
Boom roasted.
I'm your co-host, Alicia.
I'm your co-host, Steve. So it came up this week what had the most franchise sequels in film history. Like, it was just a trivia question that somebody asked. I can't remember the answer, but I was like, but I read the Wikipedia article.
Let's check it out.
It said that Debbie Does Dallas has greater than, it has 20 sequels.
What is that?
It's like a really famous porn from the 70s or something.
I was like, what is that?
I only know that from
Dirty
like
movie.
pop history. I don't really have like pornographic knowledge. Like
erotic films?
Erotic films. Anyway, so like
wow, we like devolved really quickly. It hasn't even been 5 minutes
so
yet.
anyway, like I saw that and I was like, that doesn't count as a film franchise?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Longest.
Busty Babes 14 is trying to catch up or something. Like, not good.
Jeez.
Not good. Not good, Debbie. I don't know.
Try again.
Are you looking it up?
I am. List of film series with more than 10 films. They have. Let's see. There's 21.
My first guess when somebody brought up the question was Land Before Time. It has 14. 14.
Oh, jeez. Okay, there's like one. I'm gonna Wong Fei. No, I'm not. Wait, hold on.
Come on, Alicia.
Wong Fei Hung.
I don't know.
I don't know what this is. It's a Chinese films. They have 89.
What?
Yeah, that's what it says. And then Hop Along Cassidy. It is. I don't know what that is.
What? I don't know either.
I don't
Let's
know
see.
what any of these things are.
Let me look at this. Let me look at this. Let me look at this Wikipedia article. 21 plus films. Bring me to it. Wikipedia. It's not working.
Ultra series? What is the Ultra series?
What? So
Ultraman?
89.
Does that sound familiar to you?
Wow. No. Kind of, but not really.
Perry
Guys,
Mason. Okay, that's something I finally know.
Finally.
I know Perry Mason movies.
The Hop Along Cassidy. I've heard of that though. The Durango Kid. I haven't heard of that. Santo. Not really. The Three Mesquiteers. The mesquite. It's like 3 mosquitoes.
It's like the mesquites.
What? That's crazy.
Godzilla also is coming in at 32.
Oh, I know Super Sentai. Just kidding.
Tarzan, apparently.
What is Super Sentai?
I don't know. Sounds interesting.
Yeah. It's one of those where I'm like, I'm not sure.
Apparently James Bond with 27.
Oh, yeah. That's probably the most, one of the longest, like, big box office series. Well, Fast and the Furious is catching up.
Ugh. I was so disappointed with the latest Fast and the Furious.
Well, they can't all be great.
7 was so good. Why is number 8 so bad?
People were telling me that I need to watch all of the Fast and the Furious just to watch 7. And I was like, I don't want to watch 6 other movies.
You don't really need to watch it. You can just sit down and watch Furious 7, excuse me.
People say that, though, and it's not usually true. Like, there's just so many inside jokes and stuff.
Really? I feel like it's just like such a dumb action movie. You can kind of just sit down and appreciate it for it being just a dumb action movie.
I love dumb action.
They literally drive a car through like 3 buildings in the air. So
that sounds cool.
Yeah.
I think the draw of those movies to continue making them is like, let's just see what weirder stuff we can do with cars.
Because this latest one had a submarine. Interestingly enough, though, the best part of the Fate of the Furious, Fast 8, the Fate of the Furious, is a scene where Jason Statham fights The Rock in prison. And it's like a 10-minute long sequence of them fighting in prison. What? And it's really good. It's really good.
That's a long time to fight.
I really was into it. It was like a huge prison riot. They're trying to fight each other and also all the other prisoners and the guards. So it was really good.
It sounds pretty cool. There's a lot of complications.
There's a lot of
that sounds like oh, this is gonna be such a weird pull. That sounds like a early Harry Dresden novel. That's so stupid. So that now I have to like explain what I'm talking about. So the Dresden Files are these books about this guy who is a wizard. He has himself listed as a wizard in the phone book. He's like a wizard detective. They're wizard detective novels.
That sounds amazing.
And the formula for at least the first few, I don't know how deep it goes, but these books are still going. And now they're like rated as some of the best every year on Goodreads and stuff.
Really? Interesting. Yeah. I'll have to check it out.
But
that reminds me. Sorry,
the formula of the Harry Dresden novels in the beginning is like, here's a thing. Here's another thing complicating that thing. Here's another thing that complicates this guy's life. And here's another thing. Okay, go and try and resolve all of these complications. The end. The end is usually a yes but no and. Meaning he resolves them all, but there's more complications to come in the future.
I like it.
It's like a very formulaic way of writing a book, but it's very action oriented.
Is it still entertaining?
Yeah, super entertaining. That's why those books are good, is because that formula is super entertaining because you're constantly going, oh, what's gonna happen? You know, so like it's good books. I think I've read 4 or 5 of them, but there's a lot. They're on like 13 or 14 now, so I think let me check the internet. Welcome to the Plain Donuts Google podcast, where we Google everything all day, every day.
You could also look it up, too, and follow along.
Follow along by just typing words into Google that we say. That's what we're doing.
Speaking... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, hold on. Oh, Goodreads would tell... Oh, this looks like too many. Hold on.
23.
Where's Goodreads?
What? Okay,
because Goodreads will tell you like the number of the series. Goodreads has good information to read.
That's why they call it Goodreads.
I get it.
So I'm looking at Harry. Let's see, the Dresden Files. I'm guessing that's what it's based.
Yeah.
Okay. Number
10. Oh no.
You read it. More. Hey, look at you. You read this book.
Yeah, I don't know which one I stopped at. It's a 13, 14, 15 and a half. 16, 17. I think Mirror is the.
There's there's a bunch of different ones in between. Like,
let me see when this. They usually have like a future release date. I don't.
17. Is that the last one?
I think
17?
so.
Okay.
It's the last one I saw. Good Lord, we're really entertaining today.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Interesting. Hear us count off random numbers on air.
Come listen to us Google and then say numbers out loud.
So great.
This is a good podcast. We have a sweet niche. It's Googling words and saying numbers out loud.
Oh, man.
Do you think it's bad that our podcast doesn't have a niche?
I think that's okay.
Daniel Swenson told us that our podcast's niche was pop culture comedy, and because that's what we said.
Yeah.
But we're like, I think that's too broad. Mm-hmm. But maybe it's not.
Maybe it's not.
Maybe we just need to sell ourselves as the pop culture, the premier culture comedy podcast.
What's something that they add on to like premier, the exclusive,
exclusive to those who download it.
Yeah. Voted number 1 by
guys, go on Facebook and vote number 1 for us.
Vote number 1. I don't even care. I don't know what that means.
Hashtag Plain Donuts number 1.
Plain Donuts number 1. Use it in the hashtag.
Voted number 1.
And we'll give you a free handwritten letter.
I'm gonna start. I started this week when I announced the podcast. I just called somebody out on Twitter. My friend Sheldon, who comments a lot. I was like, I know Sheldon likes it, and maybe Lin-Manuel does too. Secretly,
does. I think he secretly does. Remember how we had those downloads from the
from
UK?
London, yeah.
It's him.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's Lin-Manuel.
What if it really is him?
What if it was? What if Lin-Manuel was secretly a fan, and he's just like, this podcast, I can't respond to them because it would cause, they're not ready for that fame level yet. They're not ready, but I really like it.
Yeah.
Like,
he is secretly one of the people that's voted for us on iTunes.
Yeah.
Yes,
he left a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Just Lin-Manuel's I know I can't just swing that clout your way. It'll be too much for you to handle.
You're not going to be able to handle it.
Alicia doesn't know how to stop working to have a podcast. Oh, by the way, did you get your new employee to help you?
We did, yeah.
Are you training them?
We split our workload 50-50, which is really awesome.
I almost cussed for some reason.
Shucks, yeah. Shoot, gosh dang.
Shackles, yeah.
Shamrock, yeah.
Oh, Shamrock, yes.
Sounds like that could be a very derogatory thing to say to someone.
Oh, yeah.
That's Irish. I kind of want to say that. Shamrock.
Listen, Shamrock.
Yeah. Ooh, that's
good.
One. That's better.
We'll write scripts for money.
Yeah. We're real good at writing stuff. Did we ever publish anything? But darn it, if we aren't good at saying things that are hilarious.
I once made a kinetic typography video about one of our podcast episodes.
We say funny things, I think.
I think so too.
I think we're hilarious.
Actually, people continue to tell me occasionally, that's a good video. You should do another one of those. And I'll be like, I'll spend my entire Thanksgiving break doing another one. Sure.
Sure. What a chore.
That stuff is a lot of work.
Yeah, I bet.
It's a lot of work for not enough people going, this is amazing, I love this podcast.
So what you need to do is give us more praise and we'll do more stuff.
That's how my brain works. If you like me, I'll do things for you.
So speaking of books, I read a terrible
book.
Terrible book.
We've had a couple of experiences in life with terrible books.
And I've mentioned a couple on the podcast, if I recall correctly. Some are just, the plot is weird or whatever.
Or they're obvious fan fiction.
Yeah.
Like 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh gosh. I've not read that. But
I have read a blog while someone else read 50 Shades of Grey.
Was it, who's the guy?
I don't know.
Gilbert.
It was... No. There was this blog called 50 Shades of Suck, where the blogger literally blogged their feelings as they read through 50 Shades of Grey. So I know things about 50 Shades of Grey, like Grey's mom. They never refer to her as his mother or the woman who birthed him or anything like that. It's always the whore. So
what? That's so wild.
Yeah, well, because he apparently has a famous a storied bad relationship with his mother.
Oh, and doesn't he say laters, baby? Or something so super weird.
There's a phrase that he uses a lot, fair point well made. And apparently he says that a lot, and people are like, nobody said that's not a thing that people say.
Yeah. I think, what was it? There was recently a post or something about, maybe I read it on Reddit somewhere, but
read it on Reddit,
ha.
Nobody's ever made that joke before.
Never ever in a million years.
They know that's the most comedic podcast, #1 rated.
#1 with original jokes. But it talks about cinnamon words, where an author would use a certain phrase or specific word in their writing, and it would show up a very not a super common word or phrase, but would show up more often than one would use in normal conversation.
Yeah.
What was it? Apparently in Twilight it was chagrin.
Or
something like that. And there were a couple others. People gave some good examples, but I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so the word are these words that you notice when the author uses that they stick out?
Yeah.
So he might have backed off on it, but Jim Butcher, the guy who wrote those Dresden novels, in some of the early ones, he was using the word I think it's basso or basso to describe a low voice, right? And he used it a bunch of times, and it's one of those things where it's like nobody ever says that word, so I keep noticing that you use it, whereas other words you might not notice that they use so frequently, right? Like the and.
Or what was the other one I read? Gorgon. Someone kept using the word Gorgon instead of Medusa.
Oh.
And it was like used at least 3 times, which is using it once is like weird, right?
Yeah.
So using it more than once, I was like, like it just made me feel like a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like you looked that word up and then you were like, this is cool and I want to use it more. And I don't know.
So when Stranger Things came out, we watched it and I was like amazed. Baby, I'm amazed by you. Anyway, there you go, Sheldon. I got another song for you. Sheldon got mad at us for making fun of Don't Take the Girl.
Yeah.
That's right. He's like, this is my favorite song ever. And then I heard this podcast, Revisionist History by Malcolm Gladwell. He talked about like why like country music in particular, and particularly like the traditional style country music has like all these like classic, very sad songs, right? And you'd have to listen to the podcast to get the full effect of it. But he eventually comes around to the conclusion that, like, these songs are sad because they're specific. Like, so Wild Horses is the sort of counterexample that he uses from rock music, where he says the lyrics in Wild Horses are so general that it's good for a lot of people, but it's not really that sad. Even though the story of the song is, like, this guy sitting with his girlfriend where it came from was, I can't remember who wrote it, but he sat with his girlfriend after she almost died from an overdose, right? And it's like Wild Horses Couldn't Drag Me Away or something like that. Right? So it's like super sad, but the song itself is less sad than a lot of like the classic country songs that are like the one he uses as the strongest example, or as the sort of running example in the podcast is, He Stopped Loving Her Today. And it's basically a song about, like, I'm not going to spoil the whole podcast because it's really good, but it's a song about this love story where the lady is basically saying, you'll eventually forget, you'll eventually stop loving me, etc., etc. And then, like, when he dies, that's when he stopped loving her today, right? Like, that's the story of the song, right? And so, like, and it's weaved really well into the story of the podcast. So it's really good. But anyway, that's why people love country songs so much. And that's why Don't Take the Girl is one of Sheldon's favorite songs, because it's so specific, right? It tells specific stories, whereas it's a lot of like rock songs are just so general. They're made for everybody to be able to feel, right? But they don't tell specific things.
Interesting. So Christmas Shoes is another... I'm just kidding, Sheldon.
Yes.
And I'm sorry if that is one of your favorite songs.
What a perfect example of... Christmas Shoes is an example of a song that like gets so hyperbolic that it's impossible to care about, in my opinion.
I'm sorry, Sheldon, if I made fun of another one of your favorite songs.
And in the opinion of many people, particularly Patton Oswalt, who has a famous bit about Christmas Shoes.
He does.
Yeah, so...
Let's Google that, home friends.
Yeah, let's just play that one on the podcast. Get some free time in.
Geez.
I'm sure it's totally legal to rebroadcast. Legal. We're under fair use, right?
Yep. Should be.
Anyway. Should be. Let's check.
Should be. Let's do it. Send me a cease and desist letter, I dare you.
Better to ask forgiveness than permission.
Golly.
Just set every person in jail.
Ever. Oh, yeah. So this terrible book.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Wow.
Oh, wow. We went on a tangent.
Weird. We went on a tangent. That's
so unusual for us to do. So this terrible book, and I'm just going to tell you the name of it. It's Caraval. How would you... Okay, Steve. I'm going to show you the name of this book, and you have to tell me...
Caraval.
Like, how would you pronounce that?
Oh.
Yeah.
I've seen covers like this with some frequency, and they're really neat.
Yeah. Which is so dishonest, and because the story's so bad.
It's rated by over 32,000 people, nearly 33,000 people, and it's got almost a 4-star rating on Goodreads.
I have a huge problem.
It's crazy because a lot of people rate it really high.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
go on,
here,
Alicia. I like when you break from the crowd.
Gosh, I hate. This is the worst book I've ever.
Is it Caraval or Caraval?
Caraval.
Okay, great.
I believe.
Caraval.
I'm sorry if you
doesn't end with an E.
read it and liked it, but
I'm not sorry.
Oh, okay. So it's
don't apologize.
Fantasy-ish, like young adult fantasy type thing.
YA fantasy-ish.
I've tried to getting more into fantasy books, which, as I mentioned before, it's a little bit hard for me, but I'm getting more into it, and I'm enjoying some fantasy novels, like not necessarily high fantasy, but like modern with fantastical elements.
The thing about fantasy is that it tends to have a lot of characters, and that's very problematic for people. Like Way of Kings is one where when the new one comes out, I'm gonna have to read all of the first. I think there's 2 now out, and it's supposed to go like 12 books or something. And there's already so many characters that I'm like, I can't remember any of them.
The problem with this one is that there's maybe like 5 characters.
Okay.
But I don't care about any of them because they're never really described. Like, I don't understand their personalities at all. I don't understand anything about them. So Scarlet I think her name is like Draga or something weird. She is living on the Conquered Isles, which nothing about this. There's no world building happening.
Conquered, not Concord.
Yeah, like Conquered Isles.
Like was conquered by a conqueror.
Yeah, but I don't know. They don't explain where she lives, what she does. Like, there's no time. There's nothing to set the stage for what's going on.
Right.
Like, why they call it the Conquered Isles? Where is this fantastic carnival? It's like a carnival. I'll just call it carnival sort of thing.
So you just change the name of it?
I change it because it makes more sense.
Well, no, like, it's funny that you wouldn't just call it a carnival or something. Like, no, it's a carnival.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's such a weird, pretentious type of thing. Oh, it is kind of
pretentious.
And
what's her name? Stephanie something?
It's terrible. So they go...
Let's dox this author.
Dox her. I don't even care. So the characters are Scarlet and Donatella.
Okay.
They're sisters, and they live in this world, and you don't understand what's happening, but we know that their father is cruel and also the governor of the Isles, and that literally is all we know about these characters. That's all you know. For the whole entire thing is Scarlet has beautiful blonde Donatella has beautiful blonde curls, and Scarlet has beautiful dark hair and hates the color purple, and what
an interesting contrast. I've never heard of characters like this before.
My God. And so...
Sorry.
Yeah. Their father is cruel. They try to... like, her sister...
Cruel father. Weird.
Yeah, runs away to the Caraval because they have tickets or something because the older sister is writing letters to Master Legend. Let's not even go into that dude's name.
So she runs away to the carnival?
Carnival. She goes to the carnival.
She doesn't run away to the carnival. They just go to it?
Her sister runs away. She follows her. I won't even get into the details of this terrible book.
Okay.
They go, and there's magic, but the magic is never explained because it's the magic of Caraval. And there's a dude that apparently is into the sister, but not really into the sister. She's into the main character because, the trope of the main character being beautiful and not understanding why people like her. And, it's so bad. And there's magic, but none of the magic is explained. And there's transforming dresses. And there's these weird phrases in this book, like Tella's face dropped like a doll that Scarlet had dropped from her hand. Like weird descriptions, and
I'm making a face. I'm sorry. It
I
doesn't
awoke
carry
to the
over,
taste of death and blue in my mouth. Like, these are actual Like, okay, hold on. There's some quotes in here.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of the term purple prose?
Yes, that's exactly. Someone described it. It's like very
so purple.
Purple. It's so purple it makes my eyes bleed.
I've tried to. Well, way to bring a cliche into it, Alicia.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, her name is Scarlet Dragon.
It's just Scarlet Dragon?
Dragna. Sorry, Dragna.
Oh, okay. It's just... I love when people, like use that weird... It's just this weird thing where they're like, this name describes the person, and that's fine, but it's, like, so obvious. Mm-hmm. It has the word dragon pretty much right there, right? So you're like, oh, this is going to be a dragon-like person. I get it.
Yeah, it's so... And it just makes me so mad.
Okay.
Because it's like kind of an interesting concept. Like there's this once in a lifetime carnival that you can go to, and apparently their grandparents were involved, but not really. And it's magic is real, but nothing is real because magic is real and literally can bring people back from the dead and resolve everything at the end, even though 3 people get murdered and die, but it was all just a game at Carval, and they're back to life because if you're a player in Carval, you can use magic, and just remember it's a game. And Steve.
So there are no consequences?
There's 0 consequences, and it doesn't make sense. It just, it's so...
Love it. Sounds really good.
Yeah, it's... Oh, okay,
you sold it really well.
Yeah, here's some quotes. It smelled like the middle of the night.
Okay.
He tasted like midnight and wind. So there's a cinnamon word, right? Midnight is like a very midnight. Oh yeah, here it is. Tella's expression dropped like a doll Scarlet had dropped.
That's it?
That's the...
Why you repeat the word dropped?
I don't know. It's so...
Like a doll fallen from Scarlet's hand. Like, maybe that's a little too, like, happenstantial. Yeah. Her face fell like a doll Scarlet had dropped. Yeah. We could just not use the same word twice in the same sentence. Like, could we just not do that?
And there's so many colors. There's so many... Okay.
I get really upset about, like, very minor things.
Yeah. Something about him made her feel perilous shades of silky black. The world, Here we go. The world tasted like lies and ashes when Scarlet woke. Something acidic and moldy and burnt bubbled through Scarlet's throat, the taste of death. Like, what? Isn't that, like, who? Okay, sorry. Compose.
Okay, so, again, this is really...
Okay. We're so mad.
So I have to apologize because I feel like I am constantly, like, just pandering to Corinne because I really liked her book. Yeah. And there are other books that I really like a lot. But I think of her book often when we talk about books because she was on the podcast, right? So this person's like, it tasted moldy and blah, blah, blah of death. And you're like, to me, my brain goes, that doesn't describe anything. Yeah. Like, that doesn't describe a taste to me. Yeah. It just describes a feeling in a taste, right? Yeah. And that's, to me, that doesn't help. So contrast that with, like when Corinne was describing the lemon bars, and you were like, "Oh man, that is a taste, right?" It literally is. She talks about like the acidity making you salivate, and reading it makes you go, "Ooh, I am salivating."
Yeah. And we bought lemon bars,
right? And I feel like you could do the opposite thing of describing something tasting bad, like it. Like if I described times that I've had heartburn, I would be like, this is gonna be really contrived, but like the acidic boil of bile, right? Yeah. Sorry, that was bad. What's the word when you use the same syllable twice or more? Alliteration. Yeah. So that was bad alliteration, and I didn't like it. But like that kind of stuff where you're like, it can actually bring a flavor to mind, as opposed to just like, it tasted like the lavender shades of midnight or whatever.
Like, what does that even mean? And like, when you use those words so often, it means nothing. And like, when it's talking about that specific sentence where it tasted like lies and midnight when she woke up,
lies and ashes. Or something.
So that scene happens after she dies because she sells, I'm using quotes here. Yeah. She sells 2 days of her life to get this dress for a thing that, like, she does these things that turn out to not have any consequences or make no difference whether at the end game, right? Yeah. There's just all these weird twists that don't mean anything. But so it's like, oh, I woke up after dying and this is... my world tasted like ashes.
It's pretty hyperbolic too.
Yeah, it's weird.
The weird thing is that like I can see the problem is it's to us it's really bad and like just way over the top. Yeah. But I could honestly see why, like, and this is gonna sound really dumb, but I could see why teenage girls would like stuff like that. Especially like the sort of dark emo. That's stupid.
Like the brooding, like, dude that flirts with you even though you don't want his attention, but you kind of do because you're engaged to, like, this dude that you haven't met before. But surprise! Twist! He's at the carnival too with your evil dad, and they're coming to get you for some reason. I don't know why. And they're also in league with Master Legend, but Master Legend's not real. He's an actor. He's actually somewhere else. And he was married to...
Otto's having a real hard time with these descriptions.
Oh, and it literally wraps up the entire book, like all of these revelations in one long speech, you know, like that a character gives.
Oh no.
It's awful.
Is it?
It's so awful.
Okay, so there are ways to do exposition, right? So there's a really good example of this where, like, a lot of times you need to do exposition, and it's frustrating because you see this happening in writing and you go, wow, that's a really clever way to do that.
Yeah.
But after you've learned about what they're doing, it sort of like takes away the value of it. You know what I mean? Like, you read it differently rather than just being entertained. But a lot of times they say don't have your characters just have a conversation for exposition, right? Have them doing something, or especially don't just give a speech for exposition. So there's a scene in City of... Oh, shoot. No, I'm sorry. I have to look it up now. I'm reading City of Miracles by the same guy. And it's so far... I mean, I love it. So he has... It's Robert Jackson Bennett is the author, and he has 3 books in this series called The Divine Cities, and the first one is called City of Stairs.
Heard of those.
Yeah, so still to this day, I've probably said this before, one of my favorite reviews I've ever written is of City of Blades, the second in the Divine Cities trilogy, and the review is it's one sentence. I liked this book so much that when it was over and I started another book, I wished it was still this book.
That's pretty good.
So it's stupid. It's stupid that I like it more than anyone else has ever liked it. But no, he has this scene in City of Stairs where the main character is doing exposition, but she's doing it in the middle of, like, it's basically like she's cooking this pork soup essentially, and so it's like describing her not frantically, but like making this meal in a very sort of passioned way, while she talks about the exposition that needs to happen, right? And you're just like, oh, that's so interesting. And like, it explains it in a character sense, like she learned to cook and always does this, right? When she needs to think, she cooks. Yeah. And so, like, I was like, that's really cool. That's a really cool way of doing that. Whereas that it sounds like this speech at the end is just a speech that explains everything.
Yeah, it's a speech, and I think the worst part is, even though it wraps everything up without explaining what happened, because it's the sister who I'm just gonna spoil it because I don't even care.
Oh, spoilers! Skip ahead.
The sister
skip ahead like 3 minutes.
Of, like a balcony and dies because of reasons.
Quote unquote dies.
Yeah, but then she comes back to life, and the sister's like, "What? I saw you dead." It's like, "Oh, it's the magic of Caraval. Nothing is real. Remember?" She's like, "But how was that possible?" Because even just moments ago, the sister had said, if you're a player in the game, that you can die and there's no consequences or whatever.
Or you can die and it's permanent or whatever?
But if you're just, like, or, like, an actor in the game. Yeah. But if you're just there, you can't... If you die in real life. Yeah. But for some reason, if you die as a player, you're fine. Yeah. So she's brought back, and then the other sister's like, well, how's that possible? Like, what's going on? She's like, I don't know.
The end.
Yeah, that was it. And
I don't know. I'm living. The end.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It had to happen because of reasons. And then she's like, well, what about this Julian guy? Like, Julian's a player too, but he still really likes you, even though he was only supposed to bring you to this carnival thing and leave you alone. And he has a completely different personality from the one in the, that's hanging out with his main character. He's all of a sudden like this posh dude. And so she still is like, yeah, I'll be with you. It's like, it's not the same person! That's not...
hello, donut holes. Welcome again to the middle of the episode. This is, of course, your co-host, Steve. Just wanted to, as usual, interrupt directly in the center here. I don't know if it's dead center, probably not, but here in the middle, and invite you to listen to more of the Plain Donuts podcast, as much of it as you could desire. 42 whole episodes, including this one, on yourplaindonuts.com. That is YOUR plaindonuts.com. If this is your first episode, welcome. Welcome to the Donut Holes Pack. We don't really have a group name. Anyway, welcome to the show. On yourplaindonuts.com, you will find listings for every episode and also links to our social media. So that would be YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So we always announce every week on Facebook and Twitter when we're doing an episode. Usually we will announce a topic and you can respond with questions or anecdotes or whatever you want. And that those channels through the yourplaindonuts.com social media, Facebook and Twitter, when you find the Plain Donuts social media that way, it's the most likely way to get your stuff read on the show. Man, that was convoluted. Anyway, go to yourplaindonuts.com, find us on social media, follow us there on Facebook and Twitter when we announce the show, and you respond. It's very likely to get your stuff read. I said that twice, just in case you didn't get it in my really meandering way the first time. Also, if you can always as well find a link to iTunes from yourplaindonuts.com. And if you go there and go to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review, we would really appreciate that. That just gets us visible to Apple. And then they might someday say, hey, those guys are funny, let's feature them. And that'll be cool. Also, and finally, what I always ask is that you might go share this podcast or another one with a friend who you think might like it. We've got a backlog, like I said, of 42 episodes, so you're sure to find one that's enjoyable for all. Anyway, that's all I have. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the show. Maybe we should just write it off as like, this book was not written for me.
Maybe.
There's a book called what is it? Consider. It's a like a modern science fiction. It's very mildly science fiction, the first one. Apparently the second one just came out called Contribute, and it's more science fiction-y than the first one. But it turns out that it's basically like a story of kind of like this teenage girl, a little bit of a coming of age story, but having to deal with what does it mean that these portals showed up in our world saying, if you come through the portal, like, we have all this technology to cure diseases, and like they basically said, in 1 year or whatever, the world as you know it is going to end. So your only options are to either die or come through the portal.
Ooh, like knowing.
Right. And so like she's like dealing with all these consequences of it. And so there's a little bit of like, it starts to become a little bit post-apocalyptic kind of feel, where there's looting and that kind of stuff. But it's really all centered around the sort of emotional growth of this teenage girl, and that's kind of what it feels like. Yeah. It's sort of a teen drama with some
post-apocalyptic
post-apocalyptic science fiction kind of decorations, right? Is slash MacGuffins that push the story along. So like, wow, I never really thought those portals are essentially a MacGuffin to get the whole thing going. Anyway. But I read it and I was like, this book wasn't written for me. Like, I could tell I wasn't the primary target audience for this book. Yeah. I'm a 30-year-old man. This isn't, this isn't going to be my kind of book. Yeah. But it was written really well, and it was compelling, and it was interesting, even though it wasn't my kind of thing. And that, like, I actually left a review about it on Goodreads because I was like, you can appreciate books, even if they're not, like, for you, if they're well written and they keep you going. You know what I mean? And it wasn't, I don't know that if knowing it now, if I would pick it up again. You know what I mean? Knowing, like, that what it was really. But it was, like, a sort of a small press that published it, and, like, one of my friends had read it, and I think it was Corinne that read it anyway. And so I was like, I'll check this out. I think it was free on Kindle or something like that. And so I just was like, yeah, I'll check it out. And that was my feeling of it. And actually, the author, Christy Acevedo, I think is her name, I posted my review on Twitter to Goodreads, and she was like, oh, I'm glad you liked it. Whatever. The second one is really different from the first one. It's going to be much more science fiction-y. So I might read that one. Got so much crap on my list, though. It's so long. Cola's been reading a lot lately. Oh, man,
Shout out to
lot.
Cola.
She even messaged me today. She's like, I've been reading so much that it makes me want to finish my book. Spoiler alert, Cola's writing something, I guess. She's like, just so I can finish it and move on to my other projects, which is great. I don't know. That's a great way to...
something going on.
Yeah, it's like, I want to finish this just so I can be done with it.
Whatever motivates you,
I'm sorry for spoiling that for you, Cola, if you were like trying to keep that under wraps.
Under the hood.
Sorry about that.
Radar.
I should have asked.
Yeah.
What an a-hole.
Steve.
All of our gigantic audience is going to be like,
you're just
really...
like doxing her projects, bro.
It's so bad.
So
anyway.
I can tell that this book is definitely, I mean, it's like young adult, written specifically for young girls, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. And I read some of the positive reviews because I was like, okay, I don't want to have like a complete awful bias and just read the 1-star reviews, even though the 1-star reviews, I'm like, oh yes, this is how I feel. But
did you read some of them?
I did, and there was one that was so perfect, and maybe I'll post about it later or something.
I often read 1-star reviews of books I really liked to be like, what's this person thinking? Usually the 1-star reviews are like, don't make sense at all of books that I really liked.
This one was a pretty good breakdown of like the narrative and the plot and the characters and like all that. But I read some 5-star reviews and people were like, oh, the world is so magical and whimsical, and you know, maybe they're just reading it for the purple prose, and if that's what they're in for, then
they got it.
They got that. They got the hot dude and the girl who's pretty but doesn't think she's pretty, and the hot dude saves her life and dies but comes back because of magic. I
don't know. I heard that this might be wrong actually. Because I don't know. I get the impression that it's relatively, and I don't want to say easy because it's probably not easy at all, but I've heard that it's relatively easy compared to other genres to write like romantic books. But I've also heard the counterpoint that romance readers want a very specific thing, and if you try and throw something else in their face, they're like, this is not what I wanted. I wanted some steamy love scenes, and for this romance to have drama in it, that's what I want. I don't want your werewolves, you know, like
that's interesting because I mean, and I'm not sure at what volume romance novels are produced compared to other books, because it seems like they're made at like a much larger scale.
Well, if you look at like romance novelists, like if you go to their websites, they usually just have like lists and lists of books, like and it's like, holy crap!
Like I don't even know how, if you were a writer, how do you produce such the volume of work?
I don't know. Maybe I mean, for the benefit of the doubt, maybe these authors are just super talented and like have a million ideas that they can execute on well, and more power to them, and they're probably making a ton of money writing books. That's cool. But
the millionaire's unforgiving wife.
I have a really good idea for a reality TV show.
What?
Millionaires of Amazon. And it's all about like Amazon self-publishers that are making big money.
Really? Oh, That's pretty interesting.
That would
actually.
be. I would be really
I
interested.
would watch that. Yeah.
Write that down.
Millionaire. Send that to Netflix stats, or even better, send it to Amazon.
You could probably just do even I could see a Vice piece about that for sure. I might pitch that to them. You can write Dave. My brother wrote an article for Vice once. I think
really?
It was Vice. Yeah,
interesting.
Because
I really hope it wasn't. I consumed my grandfather's ashes.
No.
Did you see that?
Yes.
Vice used to be kind of an interesting news source, and now I'm like, bro, what?
Well, Dave had a really interesting job.
Yeah.
Which was essentially like making emergency room scenes for like nurses in training.
Oh, writing the exercise plans.
Well, no, he was like actually like setting up the mod. They're not dummies. They're like made to. They can have babies and like do all this crazy stuff. I forgot what they're called, but like they're essentially you can program them to do like different emergency room scenarios. But he had to do like fake blood and like all kinds of crazy stuff.
So he actually went there and like set it up.
Yeah. So in the simulation lab, he was like a simulation lab.
That's
tech.
cool because my dad had a similar job when he was in the Air Force, but he would just like write out the exercise plans. And my favorite one, I might have mentioned this before, but like a suicide bomber driving a pickup truck through the base gates, hits and kills the chaplain, and then it ends up being that he released a bunch of like snakes and a biological weapon like into the air once he was on. It was like crazy stuff, but
I'm tired of these snakes on this base.
Yeah, snakes on base. But it was some weird stuff that he like
snakes
had to
on the base.
But that was my favorite, and like they had to get like a fake chaplain. Like he just writes it, and then people would set it up for him. But
well, that's a cool job.
Yeah,
I'm gonna think of some crazy stuff today.
Yeah, like just you have to think of like weird stuff so people can practice because you never know what's gonna happen. So
I have trouble like when I'm writing stories and stuff to like I always think what makes sense in the story, and I have trouble like breaking out of that box where it's like, oh, what would happen next if this were real? Like what I should be thinking is like, what could happen next?
Just add some snakes
from my imagination.
Terrorist snakes.
Like, because like you're not bound by this story. Although Alicia's trying to get
Trying to signal him to get me some water.
She wants.
I just want some tequila.
She wants a couple shots of tequila. Oh man, we've gone for 44 minutes about books.
I plan on talking about so many other things.
I really want you to do that, but we can't yet because I was gonna finish saying what I was saying. You're not bound by what exists in the story, but you don't want to do like a Deus Ex Machina kind of thing, like Tolkien just throwing in some eagles that save people.
Yeah. Although I think you should incorporate terrorist snakes somehow into your book.
That's a great idea.
And one day when I'm reading it and I get to this part, I'm like, oh yeah, that's my idea that I gave Steve.
He did this.
He actually did it. He actually put terrorist snakes in this book. Biological warfare terrorist snakes.
What if they were a race of snake people that had an uncommonly large number of terrorists for some reason?
I think that would be the most amazing thing to read.
Sorry, I had to turn the light on.
Steve, you can hear your like flippy flops.
I know, flippy flop. I should have taken them off.
That's okay, so you can be stealth.
Yeah, so I could be stealth. No one would have known. Yeah, so anyway, let's talk about the last couple weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on, I'll go first.
Yeah.
There was something that I wanted to mention, but I can't remember, and I didn't write it down because I'm dumb. And other than that, not a whole lot has happened.
Had any weird dreams? I had a pretty weird dream.
Oh, man, I did have a weird dream. I've had so many weird nightmares lately. It sucks a lot. I don't want to even think about some of them because it's like, why this again? But I had one nightmare where I was being chased by like really, really creepy, scary children, and I was trying to get away, and then I got stuck in this car accident on this street that was happening in slow motion back and forth forever. So I had to basically like swim through this weird time warp car accident.
You watched Doctor Strange?
No, and then I came out on the other side and like thinking I was escaping, and there was this creepy child on the other side like, you didn't get away from me.
Whoa, that's so weird.
and then I woke up and I was like, oh, but like in the dream it was terrifying, but in life, waking up, I was like, that's kind of a cool idea. You know? Like,
nice. I hope you have a dream about terrorist things.
Terror snakes. Did you have any?
I had a dream. I wrote this because I'm trying to write down my dreams when I remember them.
Right. You mentioned that once before. Yes.
But so I just had a dream. This is literally all I wrote when I woke up at 2 a.m. A musical about paying for college tuition. And I'm reading this now, and I'm like, oh, I wish I would have wrote more about like what that means.
It's the next Rent.
But you hear that, Lin-Manuel Miranda? You heard it here first.
Did you hear his verse in? Oh, I'm pretty sure it was on the Hamilton mixtape, where he talks about basically something about how the rent check wasn't enough or something like that. No, anyway, he mentions the writer of Rent, who was a guy who Rent like blew up really big, and then kind of shortly thereafter, the guy who wrote it died. And so I heard that line and I was like, that sounds like a really good line, but I don't know what it means. And so then I looked it up. Thanks, Lin-Manuel. You taught me a thing.
Thanks.
You taught me so much about everything.
And I'm so excited to hear your new musical about college tuition. Speaking of that, so this is the other thing I wrote down. In the Heights is coming. It's not coming, but a small theater company in Ogden is putting on a production of In the Heights. Okay. Which is, if you all remember, is Lin-Manuel Miranda's first musical. Yes. And I'm actually really excited, so I'm probably going to go get tickets and see it. So good. That's like the quintessential like theater experience. And it's outside too, in the Ogden Amphitheater. So nice. I think that'll be a really fun time, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, that's great. I don't care. Just kidding. No, Aww. It's gonna be good. Steve, I tried to watch In the Heights on YouTube once. There was some like performance of it that was on YouTube, and I think it was mixed poorly or something, and I couldn't hear any of the lyrics.
Oh, that's always the worst.
Yeah, well, and it's one of those things where a lot of times when they reproduce that stuff on YouTube, it's just not. They didn't record it to be reproduced very well, and so yeah. Or it could have been like one of those like Utah reproductions of Hamilton, and I just was like, this is terrible. Remember, like we watched? Oh man, that has so an insane bad. Like ratio for some reason.
I cannot believe. I mean, it's Utah, so I guess I can believe, but I just don't want to. I choose not to believe. But so I'm really mad.
It's very atheistic of you.
Just so I have like this really angry moment because my mom saw In the Heights shortly after it had won a Tony, and Lin-Manuel Miranda was still playing the main character, and she said she didn't like it.
So you were mad at her?
And so I was mad because it's like, this is award-winning musical and you hate it? And now I'm even more mad because she saw it with Lin-Manuel Miranda and she still didn't like it. I'm like, Ma, how could you... I don't usually call my mom Ma, but in this moment, Ma, how could you do this to me?
How could you do this, mother?
How could you hate... How could you not enjoy this piece of musical theater genius? You don't know anything about culture, pop culture, anything.
Well, I have to admit, traditionally, I don't like... For some reason, I just don't like musical theater. Like, there's a lot of stuff that people are like, this is amazing. Wicked's a good example where they're like, this is so good. And I'm like, maybe it's just because everything feels contrived. That's when it comes out in songs, for some reason, to me, it feels contrived. Like, it's just me as a bad person, I think. But, like, that's why I feel like Hamilton was such a success. Because I had to get over that feeling, and I was over it in probably the first few minutes of Hamilton, where it was like, this is actually really good.
Yeah, I think the thing with Wicked for me is that it came out when I was in high school, and literally, figuratively, but it felt literally. Like, a lot of people at my school were really, really into it and always singing the songs, always playing. And I never had personally sat down and were like, I'm going to listen to the Wicked soundtrack. I've only ever listened to it when other people have played it for me, and I know it. And I don't know, everyone would always be like, oh, it's so beautiful, I'm literally crying. I'm like, are you though? Like, does Wicked literally make you cry? I don't think it does. I mean, it's like about being different and not, like those typical kind of after school special, like, themes to me. So I didn't really get it.
See, maybe you and me are on the same level with this. I don't know. I struggle, but I really liked Hamilton. There are very few musicals that I'm really into this. Yeah. So my wife and I went and saw Matilda the musical. That was pretty good, actually.
Good? Didn't you see that recently?
Yeah. Her review of it was that she wanted... Because Matilda is, like, essentially this, like, superhero character where she has these powers. But in the musical version, it doesn't come out that much. Yeah. It's sort of more just like a kid drama where they have all these bad people against them kind of thing. And she was like, I wish there had been more of this magic happening. The songs were really good. We were in weird seats where it was a little muffled. So,
which theater were you?
The Eccles Theater, the new one in downtown Salt Lake City.
So I say there's like a weird theater in Salt Lake where the balcony comes out, because Otto and I saw the Nutcracker, and the balcony came out like way above like the mezzanine. Is that like the ground floor? I can't remember.
The mezzanine is
at the top
middle,
level? So it extended really far out. So if you're sitting in the middle or the back, you have like half of, or at least a decent portion of the stage is covered with balcony.
Oh, weird.
So
the mezzanine was like too close to the stage and you couldn't actually see
it was
below.
It was super weird. So I wasn't like, because we were sitting on the first floor or ground floor or whatever. Yeah. So it's like I almost wished I would have paid for the cheaper like balcony seats, because at least our view would be unobstructed. So,
one way you could remember the word mezzanine is, you remember like mezzo forte, mezzo piano?
Yeah.
Middle forte, middle piano. Yeah. Music teaches you language. Anyway.
Language forte.
The language of music. So, tell me more stories, because we were supposed to do story time and we got like a few minutes anyway.
I ranted way too long about that book, but it was, I promise you.
The whole episode
Save yourself time.
Carnival, avoid
Do
it.
not read Carnival. I also read Water for Elephants, reading like very carnival circus themed books. Okay. Recently, that kind of seems to happen, but it just was not my favorite. Whoa! I just pulled this necklace off, but
it's just
ripping
super
off. I'm so
angry.
mad. But yeah, so went to Vegas.
Yeah.
For this weekend, and if you
you guys drove back yesterday.
Yeah, if you're familiar with Utah holidays, which I'm sure all of you are, we have a famous one called Pioneer Day.
It's the 24th of July.
24th of July, not the 4th, 24th. And a lot of people call it Pine Beer Day, but it's to celebrate the pioneers who came to Utah and massacred all of the native people. Congratulations.
I don't think that's what we're celebrating, but go on.
Kind of a little bit. But we went to Vegas, and it was kind of a roller coaster of a trip.
Okay.
Because we drove down with some friends, and we had 2 cars, and there were 3 people in my car and 3 people in their car.
Okay.
And their car broke down in St. George. And we went to the worst dealership. You know what? I don't even care. A Nissan dealership in St. George is literally the worst place ever. They're the worst people, and they will come outside and laugh at you when you're having problems. That is not an exaggeration. They literally came outside and laughed at our friend's peril with their broken down car. And because of Pioneer Day...
How much laughing was there?
They laughed a lot and brought food, and they were eating crepes. They brought out crepes because they had them for some reason for their Pioneer Day, like, sale of cars. And came out and laughed, and couldn't rent cars to our friends, even though their car was covered under warranty or whatever. And the rental there was no rental cars in this whole town. They were all out of cars apparently. Yeah, I thought the same thing. And they wouldn't rent cars to us either at the Nissan dealership for some reason because of Pioneer Day. And so we had to fit 6 people in 6 people's luggage into my Honda Civic. So if you've ever ridden in a Honda, it's not a big car.
No.
It's a small car.
Yeah.
And so we had 4 people in the back. Otto and I sat in the front. I literally was leaning on the steering wheel as I was driving because there's nothing we could do. We either stayed in St. George for a couple days, and that wouldn't have solved anything because someone would have had to come and get our other friends anyway. So it was easier just to drive to Vegas so they could rent a car there. So
could have just messaged Cola. She lives in St. George.
Oh, Cola, sorry. I should have thought of you.
Jeez. Anyway, go on.
But we got in the car. Otto had luggage in his lap. We somehow fit everyone into the back, and we drove for 2.5 hours with 6 people.
Was it hot?
It was so hot. Steve, it was, in Vegas, it was 102 degrees at night.
Oh.
In the nighttime. And I don't even, I rarely get hot doing things outside ever. But when it was in the car...
What, you trying to say you get hot doing stuff inside? Otto! Just kidding.
No.
Sorry. Plain Donuts
nights. But it was so hot in the car, and I felt bad because they're having a really bad time, and their car's broken, and they have to sit in the back of my car, and it's hot, and they're literally sitting on top of each other, and no one is having fun at this point.
Ugh.
But we're supposed to be having fun. So then we get to our rooms, finally.
What hotel did you stay in?
We stayed at the Link, which is...
Oh.
It's not the Swingers Hotel.
I don't know.
It's not the Swingers Hotel I stayed in during
Where
Christmas.
is the Link?
The Link is right on the Strip. So
what is it near?
It is near. Do you know the High Roller, the big Ferris wheel type thing?
Yes.
Okay, so it's right next to. It's like associated with that.
Oh,
So it's
in
right
like
next
that.
To it.
What? There's like a complex of 4 hotels right
Yeah,
there.
they're like the Flamingo, the Harrah's, I think is another one. But so we got there and we bought some alcohol because we needed it, and
because it's Vegas.
Because it's Vegas, and my poor friends. I doxed him before, but I won't dox him now this time. I'll just say my friend. He was putting some beer in the fridge, in the little hotel fridge, to get it cold, and one of them had like kind of a champagne bottle type situation, so it was under pressure, and it had also been shaken up, and he put it in the fridge, but it rolled out and it broke, and because it was under pressure, it like literally exploded in his face.
Oh, jeez.
And at first he was saying, "Oh, my eye burns," and we're like, "Oh, he got cut on his eye." Like, I'm scared.
Oh, jeez.
But he comes back, he's like, "No, it's fine," but he's got a huge gash, like, through his skin on his hand, and he's got, like, little cuts all over, and I'm like, ah! So, thankfully, another friend of ours is, like, a firefighter / paramedic, so he's able to tend to our wounded friend.
Jeez.
And I felt, this friend who got injured, really great guy, and he was really trying to stay positive, so he's holding his bleeding hand up in the air, putting pressure on it, saying, "I'm still having a good attitude, we're gonna have so much fun."
The pictures look fun.
It was fun, yeah, but oh gosh, that was something else for sure. So whew.
How was the trip? How else was the trip?
Besides that, we had fun. But
you guys went to some crazy club?
We went to Hakkasan, which is a club in the MGM, and Otto danced like a crazy person. He was so excited. I've never seen him. That's his first time going to a club, so he's never been to a nightclub.
I don't think I've ever been. I don't think I've ever been to a nightclub.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be 33.
Oh, come on. Okay, Steve, we're gonna go to a nightclub. It
sounds terrible.
Oh, they're so fun. But I really like dancing to like really
sounds
loud.
Sounds like people getting drunk and dancing until they barf.
Kind of. It's great. But like the DJ was really good. The music was fun. There were a lot of people there, which, it's club. They pack you in tight but
Yeah.
I have to say though, I am glad that we didn't purchase. I think we purchased one drink because they gave like the girls free drinks or whatever, typical. But I think Otto purchased one drink and it was $23 for one drink, and so he got a whiskey sour.
That's it.
That's it. But
that's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's like very club prices for sure. But
that's nuts.
It was nuts. But it was fun. I mean, we stayed there for several hours. We also saw the Tournament of Kings show.
Oh yeah.
At the
Excalibur.
Yeah.
And
that was a really good show.
I'm like a Vegas. I'm
a connoisseur.
I'm a very experienced Vegas goer.
Yeah.
We went to Vegas on our honeymoon. We were there for like 10 days. That's a long time to be in Vegas.
What happened in Vegas stay in Vegas?
No. My marriage came back with
good.
me.
But
technically we got married in Utah and then went to Vegas and then came back, but whatever.
Yeah.
My parents, like, basically, they have a timeshare in Vegas at this place called, I forgot what it's called. It's not the Wyndham. That place is terrible.
Oh.
Don't ever go there. But no, it's
like WYNN?
No, WYNDHAM, Wyndham.
Oh, Wyndham.
Yeah. The Wyndham Vacations or whatever.
Man, this sounds kind of like a fantasy.
So bad in Vegas. But no, the ones that my parents have it's like this little place that's like half a block from the Strip. You don't have to walk far. It's right across the street from the Planet Hollywood.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah, it's like right there.
Nice.
And we've been to Vegas probably 3 or 4 times since we got married.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to go somewhere else sometime. But Vegas is nice. Like it's fun.
It's fun.
And
yeah, they have really good shows. And I mean, like the Tournament of Kings show was like
it's
very
cool.
entertaining. And they give you food, and they don't give you utensils, so you like eat with your hands and you cheer for your knight. Or your king, I should say.
Like medieval times.
Yeah, it is medieval times, kind of. But
medieval times is a place.
Oh.
There's a place in California. They might have more.
Times?
Called Medieval Times, and it's essentially the Tournament of Kings. You go, you eat like birds with your hands.
Yeah. They offer give you like a whole little chicken.
They offer your dad wine, and he doesn't realize it's wine or something, and he starts drinking it and goes, "That's wine."
That sounds hilarious.
It was a good time. Yeah. But anyway, that was when I was
so there's like fireworks and like we had France as our king, and he did really great. He won the tournament.
Nice.
And even though like the dragon knight came in and kind of ruined everything, but it was still very. I have to recommend this because it comes with like dinner and like little desserts.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's fun. We didn't go to any other shows, but shows are kind of pricey.
Yeah, they
in
are.
Vegas, especially when everyone wants to go.
We went to a couple when we were there. In fact, we went to a concert, which is like, it wasn't very expensive as concerts go. On the last night we were there, which was a little weird. Concerts in Vegas are strange. And like, there was a bunch of general admission, and there was like, I don't know, there was somebody in the GA that was like grinding on people, and then at a certain point, like, all these camera phones came out in a little circle in the general admission. I don't know what was going on down there, but I'm like pretty sure something not too great was happening. And I was like, guys, we're watching Brand New. Like, this is not a like happy sex band. This is like a sad band that you play at funerals.
That's hilarious.
But no, Brand New's so good. I'm such an emo kid. But anyway, so we went to that concert. We also went to Ka, which was super dope, and we actually
I wanted to see that one. Like, have you seen any other like of the Cirque du Soleil performances?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I've only seen Ka, but it was super cool because they have like a. It's like the little spinning type. No, this is the wall, right? Yeah,
the wall
they have the weird moving wall. That's like, that was really cool. And then we also saw Phantom while it was at the Venetian.
Oh, cool.
We've seen it twice actually at the Venetian. because my wife loves it. But we went there, and it was really cool because we bought like cheap seats, but it was like a Wednesday night in November, so nobody was there.
It's like your own personal family.
We got married on November 7th, so we went to Vegas at a time when nobody else was like vacationing there, although Vegas is always kind of just busy.
Yeah.
But anyway, nobody was in the theater, and so they sat up. They're like, "Do you guys want to move forward? You can come into row 5 or whatever."
Neat.
So we like got really good seats. Just because we were sitting basically alone in the cheap section.
That's awesome.
So that was really fun. Like it's cool it feels special, right?
Yeah.
It feels special when they're like, come on, like, come sit in these fancy seats.
We saw like the Michael Jackson one in Christmas Day, actually. They do shows like
weird.
Yeah, like 24/7.
Yeah.
We saw like 3 shows in one day on Christmas. It was nuts. But Christmas Day, and we got to sit in like the little like VIP booths, like that was like not actual seats, but like in the front. And it was really good show. Like he did the singing and dancing and everything, and man, there's like some quality entertainment. We are not sponsored by visitvegas.com.
No.
We just really enjoy shows.
We like Vegas, okay?
It's really close to us.
Yeah,
so
it's if you live in Salt Lake City, and for any length of time, you've probably just gone to Vegas at some point. Especially if you can fly, because the flight is literally 1 hour.
Yeah, and it's cheap. And they're actually doing flights from Ogden
to Vegas. That's right.
For like $50. Like, that's cheaper than gas.
Maybe I'll fly my wife to Vegas sometime. That seems nice.
Yeah.
She's never been on a plane before, so we're going to go.
Yeah. You should go to... Has she been to like San Francisco or anything like that?
No.
Oh. Or she mentioned she wanted to go to like the South, right?
Yeah.
Visit like the plantations.
Yeah,
and
we're
stuff.
very interested in maybe going to like Nashville or something this year. It's our 10-year anniversary this year, so we'd really like to do something, but got to get some money. Thank you for that golf clap.
Yeah, we didn't want to clap too loud and interrupt.
Got to get some money for this honeymoon coming up or this anniversary coming up in a few months.
What's year 10? What is that? Is that
know.
anything special? I gotta look. Hold up.
Hopefully it's the
Drink.
1 year, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, don't cry. Oh, Steve's crying.
Otto, you weren't here to support me in my really bad joke. It's okay. He was in his phone. Bad producer today.
Wah, wah.
Okay, so what is year 10? Did you find it?
Let's see. Year 10 is tin.
Tin!
So that's the traditional. The modern is aluminum, or if for our Australian fans, aluminium.
Aluminium.
If you're wondering, year 5 is the year of wood. So missed it.
Can't say I did. Just kidding. So
that
bad.
was a good joke, Steve.
So bad. Thank you. We'll be here in 2 weeks.
Oh man.
So
also,
anyway,
there's like the alternate. So there's traditional, modern, alternate. The alternate gift for 10-year anniversary is diamonds. So if you got some straight up ice for your lady.
I don't have any more ice to give. Anyway, so yeah. Anything else? Were there more stories you wanted to tell? What happened at the Nissan dealership? Did you go back later?
No, we didn't stop because it was Pioneer Day holiday, so even if we had tried to go and get the car fixed or anything, it would have been they couldn't have done anything.
So what did you do with the car while you were in Vegas?
It's still there.
The car is still in St. George? The car is still
there, and I think it's getting repaired now. I think
at the dealership.
They're getting it fixed at the dealership.
Warranty,
yeah.
Right? Is this Shannon's car? Or?
This is Hannah's car.
Oh, okay.
So, which is kind of a bummer because they just barely got it.
Yeah.
So it's just like the transmission or something failed, and they're going like 30 miles an hour, like on the highway. Like, this is dangerous, and so they pulled off, and which is wise, but it's like, oh, that sucks, you know.
So one of the reasons they give you like warranties on brand new cars is because stuff like that can happen. I don't know if theirs is brand new. Is it? Brand...
Yeah, I feel like it's new.
Okay,
but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, so they give you warranties on those because like there's always going to be weird stuff. Not always, but the likelihood of weird stuff happening out of the gate essentially is higher. So they give you a warranty to be like, if when the weird stuff out of the factory comes, This is why you have a warranty. So
I actually have a recall on my car, and I need to go get it fixed for the airbags.
Oh yeah.
And not only will mine like not deploy, and I really need to go get this fixed, but there are crystallized like glass shards that somehow are in the the airbag.
Yeah.
So if they were to deploy, I would get glass shards in my face.
Oh, that's terrible.
So I was like, oh, that sounds awful. So I need to go get that fixed. But
do that. Get it fixed right now.
And I drove all the way to Vegas in my car.
Anyway.
I'm really proud, though, of my little Honda Civic for making it, like, with way over capacity. So the gas mileage was terrible, but we sure did make it. So
nice. Good job. Good going.
Hooray.
Cool. Great job.
That was it. That was my... Did you do anything for Pioneer Day?
No, I worked from home.
Oh.
We
does your company not do...
No, we don't give the day off because it's a super huge company. They don't recognize local holidays. But we did not sleep well for some reason Sunday night, like at all. And so we both woke up and were like, this sucks so much. So I was like, guys, I'm just going to work from home today.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't feel great. So that's what happened.
Sucks.
It's okay. Surviving. Well, yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening, Plain Donuts people. This podcast was about a minute and 12... An hour and 12 minutes. 1 minute long. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
We really packed a lot in there.
Best podcast ever.
And yeah, we'll see you in, remember, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks from today until after the summer because Alicia's too busy.
Because we're cool for the summer. Cool. Keeping you biting on those little bits.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Hashtag
weird.
keeping it fresh.
Keeping it fresh.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
It's been a fun podcast. Goodbye.
Goodbye.